Yo, what's happening? What's going on? What's good? Part of my presence YouTube channel. A lot of people have been asking me and questioning me and telling me, yo, they want to hear you go in on Tory Lanez and address the fact that men need to get shit straight. They need to find a way to escape these holes and all that good stuff. A lot of people were asking me to go in on Megan Thee Stallion. So this is what I'm going to do, right? Because I was going to wait to do this until the sentencing, but that's sometime in January. That's the new year. I don't want to wait till then. I think it's best to cap it off the end of the year with some knowledge that you could take into the new year so that you could apply it right away and hit the ground running. Because I think it's time that as men, we really address the elephant in the room, and it's not women, it's ourselves. But right off the bat, I want to say I believe Kelsey shot Megan Thee Stallion, right? It wasn't Tory. There was an altercation that occurred. There was a fight between the two girls. Megan Thee Stallion's a lot bigger than Kelsey. She was getting the better of her. Kelsey grabbed a gun that she saw in the car, and there was a struggle, and it shot off at the ground, and that's how Megan Thee Stallion's foot got injured. Tory Lanez got out of the car and grabbed the gun and said, yo, you girls are tripping, and shot it up in the air a few times. They all got back into the car and they drove off, and then they got arrested or they got pulled over by the cops. And they found a gun in or underneath Tory's seat. So of course Tory is now charged with all of these gun crimes, and this is where people got it confused. This was a gun case. This was not a domestic violence case. So in other words, the prosecutors did not have to show that Tory Lanez actually wanted to harm Megan Thee Stallion, or that there was some type of altercation where he shot at Megan Thee Stallion. All they had to prove is that Meg was injured due to the firing of a gun. Meg was in fear, and Tory Lanez at one point had the gun in his possession and fired off shots. That is enough to get charged with and found guilty of assault with a semiautomatic weapon. And I broke down what that charge actually means. The other part is that he was found in the vehicle with the semiautomatic weapon. That is a charge on its own. And then the gross negligence of the discharge of a firearm. That is where it was said that he was firing the gun in the air. All of those things lead to Tory Lanez being found guilty, right? So that needs to be made clear. But what I want to get into is the actions of Tory Lanez that caused all of this. And he really has no one else to blame but himself. Forget all of the conspiracies that his father Sunstar made as far as Megan Thee Stallion working with Rock Nation and they set him up. All of those things doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, and this is what's very important, at the end of the day, it's Tory Lanez's life. He is the only one who's responsible for his life, and he's the only one that could allow or to prevent people from coming into his life to create the situation where his life gets ruined. And this is what I want to just drive home to a lot of the men out there who like to point fingers and like to complain. This is all a result of Tory Lanez's own action. So let's get into Tory Lanez's character, right? We've seen all the social media clips of Tory Lanez. He's a tryhard. He comes off as someone who's like rambunctious, someone who is always on 10. When he's playing basketball, he's wild on the court. He has no technique. He can't shoot. He can't dunk, but he's trying the hardest more than anyone else on the court. When it comes to the quarantine radio, he's someone who's lively, right? All of the altercations that he's had with people, he's had beef with Drake, he's had beef with Don Q, a rap battle with Joyner Lucas. He almost had an issue with Royce the 5'9". He ran up on Travis Scott and tried to fight him. He's had other run-ins with other artists or famous people in clubs. He attacked August Alsina because August Alsina did not shake his hand. So Tory Lanez is someone that can be considered as a hothead. Now that doesn't mean that he's guilty of attacking someone, or that means that he's going to continue to do these things, but it makes a strong case that a lot of the things that Tory Lanez is involved in is his own doing, and it's his own recklessness. And if you look at how this whole thing even started, you could point the finger at Tory Lanez, because Tory Lanez was not with Megan Thee Stallion that night. Megan Thee Stallion was at, again, this is what we got from the trial, Megan Thee Stallion and Kelsey was at Kylie Jenner's place. And while they were there, they decided to call Tory Lanez. And Tory Lanez, after being invited to go to a billionaire's mansion, a billionaire's estate in either the Hidden Hills or somewhere deep in the hills in Calabasas, he decides, hey, this is a great place, a great location, a great event to go and bring my illegal firearm. Like if a billionaire's house, their own private estate, is not a safe place, as if you being a felon is not cause enough to say, you know what, I can't be riding around dirty with an illegal firearm. As if saying, I'm being invited by Megan Thee Stallion to go to Kylie Jenner's place. I don't even know Kylie Jenner, and she's hooking me up to come to the house. And I'm not going to be on my best behavior? I'm going to bring a firearm? It's not like someone invited them to go to a house party in Brampton. Or some type of barbecue, in Rexdale. That's not what was going on here. You should be thinking, well, should I bring a tuxedo? Should I bring my cufflinks? Should I bring, a pair of Yeezys? Should I roll up playing Travis Scott? Like, what should I do? What's the proper etiquette? That should be the conversation. That should be what's in your head. Not, well, who should I be afraid of? And how do I protect myself? And let me bring my illegal semi-automatic gun to this event, to this venue. How does that make any sense? So he gets there, and being the gallus that Tory Lanez is, already sleeping with Kelsey and sleeping with Megan behind Kelsey's back, probably promising a whole bunch of stuff but committing to nothing. He goes in the situation knowing that he's double dipping, and what does he do? He tries to finesse the situation and take a shot with Kylie Jenner. Now, I don't know if you guys watch Seinfeld, but there's an episode in Seinfeld where they try to crack a code of how to do the roommate switch, where Seinfeld figures out with George that, hey, I like the roommate of the girl I'm dating, but how do I get to switch from the girl I'm dating to the roommate without having both of them mad at me? And it took a while for them to figure out, but they figured it out. And when he tried to apply the plan, it backfired on him. And that's similar to the situation here. You have two best friends, Kelsey and Megan Thee Stallion. They're both drunk, out of their minds, making comments about not wanting to be left out of the fun, about why you're having fun without us, this, that, and the third. Knowing that they invited you to come down here to get in on the action, get in on the fun, and here you are being disrespectful, ignoring us, and going over to try to make your shot with Kylie Jenner. Kylie Jenner being a Kardashian, a billionaire, there's already some insecurities there. Some people say that Kylie Jenner is beautiful and more desirable. Some people will say because of the money and the fame and the prestige. And also the fact that you have a racial element as well too. You have Kylie Jenner, who is white, and you have Megan Thee Stallion and Kelsey, who are black women. So there's a little bit of an issue there as well too. But the worst part about it is the fact that here you are as a 5'7" guy, and Meg, knowing that you've been knocking down Kelsey and you've been knocking down me, and now you have the audacity at your size to go and knock down the billionaire after you would have even been here if I didn't invite you, because she probably doesn't fuck with you because you try to attack her man, Travis Scott. So she's probably looking at this like this is an insult. How dare you do this and make me feel like a dummy after you know that we've been sleeping together and this is what you do. So this is the powder keg situation that Tory Lanez has created. So you finally get to make your move and you get Kylie Jenner away from the others up in their room. And here you are, a man from Brampton, a Brampton man, about to get head from a Kardashian. Something that you could talk about for years. You could tell your kids when you're old and gray what you were able to accomplish, while you have two other women that you've been messing with in the background, not knowing what the hell's going on. So here you are about to get ahead. And less than 2 hours later, you're arrested for gun charges and you're about to do potentially 22 years in prison. What a fall from grace. So you went from having one of the highlights of your life to being locked up in state blues or state orange or wherever the attire is in the prison that you're at, having to bend over and cough twice, getting Christmas meals, powdered chocolate milk, and all kind of other state powdered slop that they're giving. They might say it's turkey and cranberry sauce, but you know it's all manufactured bullshit. It's not natural, it's not healthy. No one in their right mind would rather have prison food than having home cooked food by actual family that you love, coming from a supermarket with real food and ingredients and herbs and spices and meat. There's no comparison. And the reason for this is because when Meg Thee Stallion came up in the room and caught you and Kylie about to do something and creating a whole bunch of fuss and mess and ignorance, and Kylie coming to her senses and says, you know what, get these motherfuckers out of my house. I don't really know them. You're blowing my high. You need to get the fuck out because I live here and you're creating a scene and this is not good for my neighbors. They kick you out. You end up in a car with those two other women, drunk women, Kelsey and Meg. And you're probably so heated yourself and so salty that you decide that it was best to say to Kelsey, the reason why Meg is acting this way and acting so jealous is because she's actually sleeping with me and she did this behind your back. Why would he say such a thing to two drunk women, one who's already belligerent, one who's a known drunk, a bad drunk, and one who already has a prior history with beating people, assaulting people, someone who is also considered a bully? If you look at some of the past clips that you see of her forcing other artists to drink alcohol, take shots, trying to force Chloe Bailey to drink, and Chloe Bailey doesn't want to drink, and she's looking up on her like, yo, who is this clown bitch who's in the party now want to drink? I'm sure you guys seen that clip. It's on social media. So you have the situation where you create a scenario where now you're having two women upset at each other. One of the biggest rules between women: don't mess with each other's men. Don't sleep with the same men. You don't share that. And this is the information that you give after she already caught you trying to get down with Kylie Jenner. This is what you felt was the best thing to do. So of course a fight ensues. They're going back and forth. Meg's getting the best of Kelsey because Meg is a lot bigger than Kelsey is. And Meg's probably someone who's been fighting for a long time as well too. Kelsey decides to get the gun, bust shots off in the air while they're struggling. At the ground while they're struggling. And it probably hits Megan Thee Stallion in the foot. Tory Lanez, completely shocked as to what's happening, like an idiot, he jumps out the car, he grabs the gun, he shoots in the air like, yo, you girls are bucking. Gets both of them into a car, they drive off. Police pulled them over. The guns with Tory Lanez. The guns under the seat where Tory Lanez was, in the passenger seat. Possession is what, 9/10 of the law? Now it's his gun. Now he can't say otherwise, because if he were to say exactly what happened, he's going to incriminate himself because it's actually his gun. He brought it. Because his bodyguard would have a licensed firearm. The bodyguard wouldn't have an illegal, unregistered firearm. And you know damn well Meg or Kelsey wouldn't be packing. And definitely not a semi-automatic. So what kind of situation did you create for yourself? All because you decided to open your mouth and take risks that you had no business taking. Instead of saying to them, you know what, you guys are drunk, I want to make sure you guys are okay. My driver's going to drive you guys home. I'm going to go into another car. Don't worry about me. Everything will be okay. Let them go home. Let them feel like they're being taken care of. Let them feel like they're being loved. They go on their merry way. You don't have to tell them what you're doing between them. Let them figure it out on their own. That's their business, not yours. You don't claim them. You don't have to worry about those things. Just make sure they get home safe. And then you can make your way back to Kylie Jenner's house and try to, get it cracking if that's what you want to do. But instead, he does something that puts his life into another person's hands. And there's one thing that men should realize. The last person you want to have control over your life, the last person that you want to be able to decide between whether your life is ruined or whether your life is salvaged, is definitely not a woman that's scorned. And when you decided to rat out Meg Thee Stallion and tell Kelsey that she has been sleeping with me behind her back, you ratted her out. You destroyed their friendship. Probably a friendship that she valued at some point in time. And you destroy that. On top of that, you have them two fighting like idiots over you. A man that no one claimed, and you never claimed them. It's an embarrassing saga. It's embarrassing. It's a soap opera, really. You couldn't write any better than that. So you have this happen. You've embarrassed these women. They're going to now embarrass you, knowing that they have your future, your career, your livelihood, your reputation, all at stake and in their hands. And you thought that they're going to spare you? You're going to be fighting for your life. Because to you, getting head from Kylie Jenner and being the one who always wins and always has to set a safe face, you felt that was more important than anything else. And that put you in this position. You were too fast. Too fast. Too ambitious. Didn't want to slow it down. And this is what happened. It finally caught up to you. All the shenanigans that you've been doing, attacking people at clubs, trying to confront people, playing basketball too aggressively, it's all caught up to you. And this is what's happened. But the one thing I want to say to men, there comes a time when after all the shenanigans, after all of the Playboy era that you do, that you want to get out of your system, the gallus era that you want to be in, whatever situation that you want to be involved in, there has to come a point where you realize that there's some women who are loyal, who are good women, and those are the ones that you don't screw over, you don't insult, you don't take for granted, and you don't destroy. You treat them well, you keep them around, you let them know what's going on, you be honest with them, and at some point in time, you commit to them. The loyalty is something that's not automatic. It's something that comes over time. It's something that you cultivate, that you grow. It's not an overnight thing. Because I know you damn well are not going to be loyal to a broad overnight. There has to be tests that come into play. Right? They have to earn that type of stripe. And that comes over time. So you have to know, if you want a great relationship with a great woman, it takes time. It also requires you to slow yourself down. But if you want to play these reindeer games and you want to be, involved with all types of women and knock them down because you feel you're young, then go ahead, but protect yourself. Strap yourself up. Make sure that you keep your life in your own hands, in your pocket. Make sure your trajectory is not affected by any things that you do. Make sure you don't expose yourself so that people could use that information to ruin you. Make sure you keep things on the hush, on the tuck. Don't let people see all of your wins, because it's a dog-eat-dog world. And when you're playing those games, trying to knock down every woman that you see, eventually it could catch up with you. It will, at some point in time, it will. And you want to make sure at the time that it catches up with you, you have at least shielded yourself enough where any type of damage that they think that they could do on you is minimal. And as men, that's what you need to realize. If you want to play those games, prepare yourself, protect yourself, shield yourself. But I tell you, that's a full-time job. Tory Lanez might not have the time and the headspace to deal with those things. And as a result, he exposed himself. Men, don't expose yourself. Because too many of us men lack discernment. Right? We'll see a woman that we know has a bad attitude, doesn't get along with anyone, doesn't have much friends, but that ass though. We'll see a woman who has 3 kids by 3 different men, but we'll still deal with her because that ass though. We'll see a girl that we know is a girl of our ops, but she's feeling us and she's giving us that vibes, so we want to deal with her because that ass though. Knowing that all of those situations are powder keg situations that can end up with you either doing time in jail, ruining your life, your career, or even worse, getting yourself killed. So slow down. And also, it doesn't mean that you avoid women. It doesn't mean that you don't disclose things with women. Just gotta know the right woman. Because Megan Thee Stallion was not it. You can look through all her history, her behavior, her message. About it's her coochie, she can do whatever she wants with it. But she can't even deal with the consequences when she does what she wants with it. And now she's gonna throw it in your face and make sure that you pay the consequences that she's not willing to pay herself. So these are the things that can happen to you when you fool around. Protect yourself if you're gonna play those dangerous games. And if you don't wanna play those dangerous games, build and cultivate a relationship with a woman that you could trust, that you respect, that you could build a future with. Because I'll tell you this right now, having one woman by your side to protect you, to invest into you, that you can invest into, you'll have a more fruitful life that way. So stop comparing yourself to these celebrities. Stop trying to do what all these celebrities are doing. Because really, it doesn't really work in the real world. You end up screwed over. You end up being one of those guys who have multiple kids with multiple women. And you're not even going to be able to earn money, because every time you earn $1, you got to give 2 back. So that's my message to men in regards to this whole situation with Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. I am going to do a part 2 for this, and I'm going to address the women on what women can learn from Megan Thee Stallion's behavior and her actions, and things that you probably shouldn't do, and the messages that Megan Thee Stallion promotes. They're not conducive of the proper lifestyle that you want to live if you want to have peace in your life and if you want to have men in your life of value. So we're getting that to number 2. Let me know how you feel about this particular video. If you agree, if you disagree, leave in the comment section. Until next time, as I always say, next move, best move. Part of my presence YouTube channel. Peace.